so any of this can be
You
used.
just started correctly.
I know, right? Okay, it stopped. Should be.
It stopped.
Of course,
Okay.
of course, it did that right when I hit record.
Half hour we're talking.
And
Welcome
it's just fine.
The show. Ryan's crackling. And then we're going to find out next week that it didn't record you again.
Right.
Newsflash,
It seems to be
I'm fine with that.
working. Right. I'm just here to record you.
That's our opening.
Anyway. It's Rita's show. It's Rita's show. You know, the Rita and Ryan show. It's Rita's show. I'm
Pshaw. It's
I'm the co-host.
Rita and Ryan show. 50-50.
Yep. And
he's the brains behind the operation.
I wouldn't go that far.
And I think is this our opener? Well,
yes,
we're really doing it.
We are really doing it. This is the show. We
ladies and gentlemen,
glitches and all
of our millions of guests, glitches and crackles and glitches. This is the 10th episode of the Rita and Ryan Podcast, and it happens to be Father's Day.
Yeah,
it happens to be Father's Day. So guess what we're talking about tonight?
Oh,
Ryan,
sushi.
On Father's Day, no, dads don't like sushi. Do dads like sushi?
Some do, maybe.
Okay. Maybe, probably, basically. Those are the probably, basically, maybe. That's Ryan's go-to answers. No yes or no's. Correct, Ryan?
Exactly.
Pretty much. So it's Father's Day. This will air next week or whenever Ryan remembers. Yeah. And just so we do a shout out to our favorite fans, your mother, of course, and Chef Jenny Fox of the Indiana area, personal chef and meal prep extraordinaire.
To the stars.
And our sweet, dear, loving Kimmy, who is an amazing spiritual studier, and it's her business, and she's super generous. When I first met her, she did a complete horoscope reading on me, and she will verify, and I have it in writing, that the sign of Libra is one of the best signs in the horoscope. Ryan's a Pisces, so
yeah, that's
there you go.
So being the best sign is not something we care about. We're like,
okay, yeah, Pisces.
My feelings. My feelings in art. Right. Wow. My feelings in art is more important than the hierarchy of zodiac signs.
And that's why.
So congratulations.
Congratulations
to all Libras. Congratulations.
Well, Aquariuses are great. Leos are great. And then there's these sensitive Pisces. Now, the Pisces, this is why you and I get along so well.
We're a lot of fun, though.
Pisces.
We're fun.
Well, Pisces are fun, super creative, super smart, and super sensitive. Yeah. And they can kind of go into hermit mode where you disappear for months at a time.
Yeah, guilty. It's
So, but the Libra seems to have lots of Pisces friends around her that I don't know, Libras love everybody. So, but enough about me. Because it's about the two of us, right? The Pisces and the Virgo. No, I'm not a Virgo. Oh my God.
Do you even wait?
Libra. I don't know. What kind of slip is that?
What happened?
My birth certificate.
Have you been drinking?
Believe me, I am so not a Virgo. Because Virgos are like Tauruses, and these are all really good, positive things. I just laugh because if you look under the Libra sign, they're all about justice, all about being fair. They love beautiful things. They love connecting with people. They just love everything to be lovey-dovey-dovey.
I only know about Pisces.
Right? Bad side, they're very indecisive. They can change course very quickly. So it can make the two other signs that Libras can make a little cuckoo, a Taurus and a Virgo. Taurus and Virgos, excellent signs, very smart, very diligent, hardworking, and they stick to the plan. And a Libra doesn't always stick to the plan. Yeah. They'll get to the goal.
That could be why that could be why Libras and Pisces get along, because we don't always we don't even necessarily have a plan.
Or right, so that things that and I'm not saying that I'm not,
because we're a water sign, we flow, we go,
Well, yeah, you're a water sign.
Yeah,
I'm an air sign.
I said we Pisces are.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We.
So, are you speaking on behalf of all the Pisces in the world?
Sure.
You Pisces are a big collective group.
Yeah.
And you're the leader.
We're the fishy. I'm not the leader. I'm just a drop.
I'm a drop too, but Libras are okay. So the thing though is that the Taurus and Virgos in my life, I love them and they love me, but it's that whole, they have to do this, they have to go, okay, Rita. Because I'm like, last week we said we were going to do this, this, and this. Yes. Now this week you want to change it. But it still gets us to the end goal, right? Well, yeah, because we can do this, but then if we change over here, we can add this, we can throw in streamers and confetti. They go, no, we have a routine. And that's the thing is that the Libras are, they're always looking for something outside the routine, maybe sometimes outside the box, but a Taurus and Virgo, beautiful people, beautiful, good looking people, super smart. And they help actually balance out Libras because we can get a little bit up in the air, up in the sky. Pisces, on the other hand, yeah, the same thing. We would not, it would be, that's why I think it would be funny for you and I to do a road trip. It'd be like, where are we? Who wants to drive? I don't know. I don't care. You go ahead. You want to? Are you hungry? Not really. Okay, me either. I think we missed the exit about 3 miles ago. Right.
Actually, with one of my exes, this is, I don't know, 15 years ago, one of the most fun things we did, we decided to go on a road trip. I was just pick a direction, and we flipped a coin, ended up going south, just driving for 5 hours, and ended up somewhere in North Carolina, got a hotel, the next day went to the movies, and then drove back. Yeah.
That's cool.
Just,
I personally love to drive. I'm the goofy person that too. If I go to a town, I'm looking for maybe a little mom and pop restaurant. I'll go and visit with people. Surprise, surprise. Because what I want to do is if I'm going to a place that I've never been before, and it looks like, a little unique country town or it looks different. I don't want to go to a main restaurant that I could go anywhere. So it's
yeah, I hate
Susie and Bill's, home cooking restaurants. I want to go try that.
I get mad.
Angry, enraged.
Not enraged, but
your hand going up in the air, going
mad for me, where I'm on the inside stupid, fuck, but I say or do nothing. If people are visiting and they're like, oh, let's go to Applebee's or something, and I'm like, why? Let's go to this other restaurant that you can't eat at. So that always bothers me. Yeah. Eating at chain restaurants, in local places, because that is the point of visiting, is to actually experience what the what it's like there. To me, where it's I don't want to necessarily experience the toury stuff. Yeah, I don't mind seeing it, but that stuff's usually just boom, bam, in and out. But yeah, go in and find out what is going on, with the spot you're at.
Exactly. So, been very, very lucky with work, traveling all over the United States. Go to Pennsylvania. You get great Italian food, and then you go to just finding these little tiny places that look different. A pizza place would be a restaurant here, except for Domino's. But just to say, yeah, we got 3 tables. People just need a slice, get out of here. But and then to eat just different type, because California doesn't really have a pizza, not like New York.
No, I mean we only really have tacos and Mexican food.
Right.
That's
and then that California cuisine with avocados.
Everything else is kind of
from different cultures.
It's all different like fads, I guess.
Well, but I think too, especially in the Bay Area, I'm sure it's LA too, our cuisine, because we have so many different cultures here.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's a lot of good
Thai
Asian
restaurants,
food here.
Ethiopian restaurants, right? So we've got just an amazing array. So we're our own little country in, like our own little United States in California. But yes, the Italian food influence on the East Coast, it's really great. I mean, because it's like food you wouldn't get here,
mm-hmm.
and it just
there's actually not a lot of Italian food down here in LA.
No,
I mean,
and the ones that we have here are Chinese. It's not. I call it quick spaghetti. It just tastes like you could just make it at home.
I can't really think of the last time I really had spaghetti out.
I don't know. You eat pancakes all the time, so okay. Let's get back to we greeted and meeted, right? We did our meet and greet.
Yeah.
I don't think you said who you were. Who were you again?
I don't know anymore.
Okay.
I'm
so
Ryan. That's what my name tag says.
I want a name tag.
You have a name tag there? It says Rita.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Let's see if I move in a certain way. Okay.
No.
It can be under me. No,
it stays with your frame. It stays with the frame.
Okay. So it's Father's Day today. Oh, I know. Because our number one fan, Chef Jenny Fox of the Indianapolis, Indiana area, she sent me a text on Friday saying, "Hey, isn't the show out?" And I said, "What the frig?" Because we usually get a reminder, and then the whole day went, and then I wasn't going to push you, and then she showed up on
Saturday. Yep.
So Ryan,
I was really tired and basically went to bed after work almost every night, and
you shirked your duties.
Yeah, I did.
So you went priority list of my personal health. And then the Rita and Ryan show went well into that.
Yeah, just under that. Just under it, though. And so Friday, bounced it down real quick. And then Saturday morning, got up and did the thumbnail. And finally found a picture of... I put in a different search word for a animal. And then... which is kind of appropriate because that's when... we came up with the phrase when we started talking about it's cute when there's only one.
Right.
So
perfect.
As far as a thumbnail, like the man bun was more appropriate and funnier for the last episode because I was wanting to do a mouse themed one for the where the man bun. But I couldn't find a good mouse, and we talked about the mouse again, and it landed with a funnier thing for me to pull out. And so it's all serendipity.
Serendipity.
Yes.
Doodah.
All day long.
Don't. So, do you want an update on the mouse?
Yeah.
Okay. A big update. Haven't seen the mouse since I think the mouse was listening to the.
He was like, "Oh shit!"
Right. The mouse was like, "I'm not going in those boxes."
He's like, "That paper was nice, but I don't want to get stuck in a trap and squished with a boot."
So I don't know if he's been in and he walked around and went, "Yeah, this is not going to look good for me," and he is, but. So we know there's no infestation.
Hopefully,
and now he's not visiting because I just realized after a few days, I have to stop going out into the garage to take a picture of a mouse because he's just not. He's not there.
Yeah. It's
it's
starting to affect your life. Your family is like, "Rita, you have to come inside. You haven't eaten in days."
I know, right? No, but see, because this is what's so funny about it is I tell this big story because it happened. Then it leads to the pest control place coming. And then I realized when there was no infestation, and then I had to have two guys say, "Hey, lady, what are you protecting this mouse for?" And now I can't. All of a sudden, I thought I got to take a picture of this mouse who is smugly walking in and just stopping and not turning around and going during the day. because no one's going to believe me. So, but it is the curse sometimes of working from home, because you have a lot of time to go because 24 hours in a day is a long time, and I don't sleep that much. But is that going? I feel that every once in a while I go out and go, I'm always going to walk with it around my phone because he's standing there.
Yeah.
Now I feel.
Then you have to get a picture of it.
No, now I'm thinking I don't want him to come back.
Oh, right, because
and bring his friends. But then on the other hand, I'm going, I need to show some receipts besides the bill from the,
from the
exterminators.
Yeah.
Saying, lady. But good news. So that's the mouse update, and the ants are gone. So.
Yeah, let's for his sake.
Let's look on the bright side.
Let's hope he stays gone, for its sake.
And let's hope he's. Yes,
yeah, because if not,
he's in a new home that wants him more.
Right, because if not, you'll have to call those dudes back.
They're not going to believe me either. Okay, back to Father's Day. Here's the thing about Father's Day.
Yep.
Fathers are complex. I'm going to make statements. And unique. And the thing is, a father, because you can only go by their actions as you grow up and as an adult. And you can only interpret, because a lot of dads just don't talk and explain themselves. So this is my father's story. My mom passed away 12 years ago. My dad lived with me for 6 years and then moved in with my brother because my brother needed some help with his grandkids. So my brother and I had a tough situation, and he would just get mad at me all the time. And so I just said, okay, if you're mad at me all the time, just stay away from me. That included staying away from my dad.
Right.
Because they lived, right? And so that was a weird thing. But as time went on, so my brother and I had this big, not even a fight. My brother would have this outburst. I'm just like, dude, I'm not dealing with that because I don't need to. But then it made it uncomfortable for me to pop in because my dad either lived in Central California and now he lives in Nevada with my brother. So a month ago, number two, my dad's 86 years old.
Nice.
And a very active 86-year-old. So a month ago, he was installing a sprinkler system, and he got through with it, and then he went in the house and he was having trouble catching his breath. Long story short, he told my sister-in-law I was going to lay down. My sister-in-law said, we're going to the ER. It's not normal not to be able to breathe. Goes to the ER. Yeah. Finds out he didn't actually have a heart attack, but he had something going on with his heart. And then they did a big scan of his heart, and they said, the problem is you do have a bit of heart failure, probably part of it's your age. And you weren't experiencing this before, and you have pneumonia. So that's the breath thing. But even worse news, you've got 2 spots on your left lung. So we need to work up. And then my dad, who is this tough guy, is like, well, when he's calling me, he's calling me. And the doctor's like, well, if that's how you want to handle it, that's fine. There are more things we could do, though. But you're not a candidate for surgery. And if you didn't have the lung issue, we'd probably try to put a heart pacemaker in. You can go back out and work in the yard. But we're not going to do any major surgery on your lungs because you're 86 and you've got a heart issue. So my dad was hearing, that's it. I'm just going to go home and rest until it's time to go. Okay. Well, I have a very dysfunctional family, and I laugh about it because what I always say is that during times of crisis, they don't all of a sudden go, oh, I'm normal, right? Everything gets more dysfunctional and more amplified. And so I'm the person usually just goes, well, that's really not great news. And my dad's there saying, I'm 86. I'm good.
Right.
And logically you go, you got a good run. If you heard of somebody 86 going, I'm preparing to be at the end of my life kind of thing, well, okay. so that was all at the emergency. They said, but you got to go to your general practitioner. General practitioner says, there's a lot of stuff we can do. It's not going to be so invasive. We don't have to start,
it's not
planning the funeral yet. So we go through all the dysfunction until we get to the drama.
There is some hope.
And again, so your analytical part of your brain goes, and he's 86 and he's fine. And I'm like, so of course it's upsetting. So I call my dad when this happens. He's like, well, I don't want a lot of drama. And he said, and I don't want you kids to start calling thinking I'm going to die any day. He said, because I could die any day. And I'm like, oh, okay, Dad, you're taking this really well. But I said, just keep informed. So going through all these different tests, seeing these specialists, and the doctors were like, we should go and see what's going on with your lungs. Because you don't know how long you've had it. You haven't experienced anything. The pneumonia's cleared. And now you're just kind of sitting there going, I don't know what to do physically. And he said, if by some chance in heck it's not malignant, we're going to get in there and try and get that pacemaker going. So this last Friday was his lung biopsy. Mm-hmm. And they said, of course there's a risk because he's 86. His heart only works at 50%.
Right.
And puncturing the lungs, not great. Okay. Drama. And here I'm going with my dysfunctional, going into what I call, in a joking way, the belly of the beast. My siblings who I've kind of been disentangled from because of drama. And that has separated me from my dad. By my choice, not their fault, just me not wanting to deal with the drama.
Right.
I'm stealing myself going, I'm going to go Thursday morning. My sister hitches a ride. She's here with me. And it's going to be a 4-hour drive. And he's going to be mad because I haven't physically seen him. And I'm thinking of going, oh my gosh. I thought it was just last year. It's been 3 years.
Wow.
So now I'm having guilt. Going, shame on me. Because he's going to say something. Because, we know what they're going to say. Because they're our dads. So my I'm telling her, you got to calm down because I can't do it. This is the funny part of my life. Sister's like, just maintain and have, just don't worry. We don't know what's going to happen. We just know that we want to spend some time with Dad and not make it look like you may not make it through this procedure. So, but here's the wild thing about being an adult now and kind of seeing things from a different point of view. All the things I thought about going, he's probably, the first thing he's going to say is like, took you long enough to get up here. And then I'd feel like this big, like that kid again. And so we get to the house, call him to say, how do you want us to come into the garage? Because they have my brother's got a bunch of dogs. And I was like, oh no, I'll be out there. Here comes my old dad. My first thought was, man, he looks old. He's got the car and he's waving at me. He's in the car driving the driveway, and he's like, hey, and I go, hey, I said, geez, you look really old. And he's like, I'm 86. And I'll go, okay. So I unpack my stuff. My sister goes and gives him a hug, and I go and give him a hug, and this is the important part. I want to just put this on recording. So my relationship with my dad, it's not like estranged, but it was like, he's been this like larger than life guy that I never had this really close. He was never I'm proud of you, dear, I'm loving, and I didn't need that from him, but he's very matter of fact, not a huggy, lovey-dovey kind of guy. Never has been. And so it would always be, oh, love you, Dad. He's like, love you too. It was just almost like so I learned as an adult, I didn't need that from him, just, but he's my dad. And so, but I also wanted to be able to see him because he is 86 and things could happen, right? At any moment. So I walk up to him, I put my luggage down and everything. And I'm like, oh man. And I was joking, I can't believe how old you look. And he's like, yeah, remember, if I'm older, you're older. Ha ha ha. And I go to hug him. And you do that typical 10, 15 second hug. And I just go to release. And my dad didn't release. he just kept hugging me and hugging me. And I'm like, whoa. I said, what's up with you? And he just said, good you're here. And he just turns around and you hear him sniff, sniff, sniff. And I'm like, Dad. And I'm following him. I'm like, you are crumbling everything I thought this was going to be. And he's like, knock it off. You're like your mother. I said, no. He's like, knock it off. I told you you're good to be here. He's kind of playing the tough guy that I know and going, yeah, he's happy to see me. So that's my Father's Day story, because I feel very lucky that my dad's still around.
Yeah, at 80. That's a good.
His procedure went lickety split. When he came home, he complained about it, which I thought, it's like, because it took longer to set up, and then the doctor came in and told the team, you set up the wrong thing, so it took another half hour to redo things. And Josh said,
doctors sometimes.
Right? So he gets home, he's like, well, and I made a choice to go. I'm not going to, because in the hospital now, even though Nevada's restrictions are a lot less, is that you have to like pretend you're not related to go into the waiting room.
Really?
And I thought, well, because they didn't, they only have 2 family members. So if there's 4 of us there, we have to act like we're for somebody else. And I said, I've got a car. If anything critical happens, I'll come. I felt bad about taking someone else's spot, right?
Right.
So say Mr. Smith is having a procedure and his family can't get in because we're taking up, so that's why Dad says, like, you made a good choice being here. He said that to sit in that waiting room for 3 hours just because it took long.
Yeah.
But the neat thing was yesterday morning when he woke up, he was zippity-doo-dah all over the house. He was, because the dynamic, my brother and my sister fight, or they talk about each other behind their back, just like we were kids. And it used to make me crazy. And I was like, I don't want to be around these people. And then I became the instigator, because my sister would go to my dad and I, your son, this and that. I know he's my brother, but this and that. And then my brother would come in the room and I go, hey, your sister just said this about you. And they get in a fight again. Well, all of a sudden, my dad just laughing his head off. And he's like telling my sister, you shouldn't talk about people behind their back, because you're not in front of Rita, because she's going to call you out. I said, I've never been happier. I said, I see all of our dysfunction on display here. And I said, Dad, all these years, all the craziness. I said, you thought it was funny? He goes, you guys are a mess. But that's our story, the family. But the good news is he feels good. I called him today, but he's so funny. He's like, don't call me every day to see if I'm okay, because and I think that is such a gift for me, because anybody can go at any second. I mean, you're just lucky, right? I mean, I just think to go, it would be, of course, my dad would be out replacing a sprinkler system at 86, that he has trouble, that he realized he's got pneumonia, meaning he wasn't taking care, he was having some issues. And he's thinking, it's just a cold, it's just bronchitis, And then on that, they find, you got some heart problems and you got a lung problem. That heart problem, if he would have gone to bed, who knows? So it's kind of like this weird thing of going, for just a story, no advice for anybody, but I'm just laughing about the fact that it's like sometimes in our head what our story is or what we think, and then, like I said, exactly what I thought of my dad and my relationship with my dad is totally true. But so all we know is what they're going to do. That's what I was thinking the whole time, is like, he's probably going to say, took you too long. And then I feel guilty.
Based off of past encounters.
Right. So then all of a sudden it's like, so what? Because the truth of the matter, he was happy to see me, and
right, of course.
And I'm, but yeah, so I just want to say, because we have this on recording, no matter what happens, I'm of course going to visit. It's not far away, crossing state lines. And it's so funny because it's so close to, it was in Nevada and it's really close to the California border.
Right. Right. like, because Vegas is, I think, only like a 4 to 5 hour trip from here.
From you, but he's on the Reno Spark side.
I'm not familiar.
You're not familiar?
Yeah, geographically, I have like I don't know.
So it's almost like Vegas is 4 hours from you, and Reno. That's how Nevada comes around the state. Kind of hugs the state.
Yeah, it fits in the little Pac-Man mouth of California.
Right. So it's 4 hours. So the Bay Area, right? So anyway, 6 hours to you from the Bay Area, and then another 4 hours to Vegas if you want to go through Henderson. Probably 10 hours drive, 10 hour drive, but just 4 hours with no traffic. So it's a really easy, and it's a beautiful drive once you get up into the mountains. And
I bet.
And so, yeah, this time of year. But it was just my thing of going, I just don't question. I just think of that. It's like sometimes what stops us from going and checking in and saying, hey, is all the relationships or, that whole, and that's what I was thinking about today, going, it's what we believe will happen instead of just going. And then,
especially because you're like, through past experiences, you're just like, this is just some bullshit I don't want to have to deal with later. I could just not be bothered if I don't.
And then just like the things that that I've carried before is
it might not be as bad.
Might not be as bad. And all those things that carry to go, if I don't want him to say this, and I don't want him to bring this up, and if I don't want to share this, and because that's what I was thinking, is like that
all the previous triggering conversations with
because being a person who fought back a lot of the social norms that my parents were like, you got to be a certain way, and I just fought that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't care. So I wasn't going to, it lived that world, because they lived in a world of what people thought, or they measured the parenting based on how the kids. So it's like, I'm not going to live in that world. I'm going to be a decent, loving citizen, but I'm not going to be held. I'm not going to spend my nights going, I have to be a certain way so everybody accepts me. And that's, and it's not, my parents came from a world of, it's a reflection on their parenting skills. And so, but that was, so that, and when I found my voice and I fought back like a lot of teenagers do, I always had a chip on my shoulder, because that was how I was a condition. It's like, no matter what, they're going to be upset with me. So why don't I just do whatever I want to do? And I didn't do anything terrible. I just didn't do it their way. That was the back and forth. That's really hard to let go of. So
I wish I'd have went that way after high school.
Yeah.
I would
fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I wish I would have fought back harder.
It's a wild thing, because as the older I get, the more I think, well, what am I holding on to? Because being present, as they say, meaning like what's happening right now in this moment, because in our heads, you like you said, the trigger things, you don't know what it's going to be. The first thought is like, what am I supposed to do? And then what do I want to do is two different questions,
and
right?
Judging in with me, judging in my personality, because I like what will I say if I'm pushed the wrong way? Like,
right. Or now,
like when I lose my head, like I might say some crazy shit to someone, because when you are, I can relate with dysfunctional family stuff. And so, when you're being around people that fly off the wall and say some weird, crazy shit, that's kind of unfortunately where you go. Like, one of those fun, when they say breaking the cycle, trying to break the things that were before you to not perpetuate onto the next generation. That unfortunately is one of those things where it's, I know that in there for me, and why I try to always stay zen and sort of centered and stuff, to where I do have the room to get kind of mad about something,
right,
without
well, one great lesson for me was always be open to people surprising you.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Everybody's just fun because you get together with your family and people start behaving in a way that the way they interact. But my attitude was different. I just laughed a lot more. Mm-hmm. And so because all this stuff was going through my head going, my dad is the last connection to, mom and dad who created this whole family. And right. That, I was pondering that going, well, that's weird. And it is like to go for him to be gone. And then I kept thinking all those things that people think about is, have I said everything I need to say? And I'm like, yeah, because that's the relationship of my dad's very, very matter of fact. And he's so funny. He's like, yeah, we talked about the will, what he wants to do. He's like, I don't want anything. I don't want service. I want to be cremated. I want to be fried. And it's like, yeah, okay. All right.
Put him in one of those tree pods.
Right. That's a good idea. But yeah, I said when I talked to him today, it's so funny though because this is what cracks me up. So it's wild because I said to him today, he's like, I said, I know you don't want everybody calling you. I said, but it is Father's Day. I said, this isn't a call to see if you're dying. Because as we said, I don't want your kids calling me just because I'm dying. Because I've been dying for a long time. I said, well, do you want me to call? It's Father's Day. It's like, well, of course I want you to call. And then, but I think I told this story last week or the week before about my dad. The big important thing about it was your car, the tires,
right,
the oil. It was life imitating art, or I don't know what it is. Yesterday morning before we left,
he was asking.
He brought it up. When she was 18, I told her since she's 15 and a half, when she's driving, when she's 18, and then he started bringing up all the things I did in high school that went against the grain. And of course, everyone was laughing their heads off.
Yeah, right at the last minute.
Right. And my sister-in-law was like, because my brother and sister think, oh, she's all that. That's how they look at me. And I'm going, no, I'm not all that. Oh, but so they love it when my dad busts my chops because he just systematically, all these things. I'm like, as a teenager, right? You remember when you dated that guy and your mother came out to the car and you were sitting out in front of the house drinking? I'm like, barely. You weren't supposed to do that like that. But he didn't tell, and I'm not going to share the story of how it went. But my mother, that wasn't going to happen. One of her girls weren't going to be found making out with a guy out in front of the house. So, it's 2:00. I'm going to tell the story, but 2:00 in the morning, all she'd have to do is tap on the window to say, get your ass up back in the house. Nope. She's screaming and yelling. So the whole neighbor wakes up, neighborhood.
Right.
So, and I'm fighting with her going, the whole idea was not to have anybody know that one of your girls would be, a girl with a boyfriend out in front of the house. And then she causes this big fit. That's how I looked at it. But yeah. It's so funny.
I imagine it scared the shit out of that poor guy.
Yeah.
I would have been. I would have been freaked
Which was
out.
actually, looking back, because he didn't turn out to be the greatest guy. He was one of the most beautiful people I'd ever seen in my life.
Oh.
That was Shallow Rita. So going all for, because there's a time in your life.
It's allowed. I'm probably. I might be considered a little shallow.
Yeah. So and he was older, so that was all, and he had a fancy car.
Yeah.
All the stuff, a 17-year-old girl would think, oh my God.
Yeah.
And so he had some bad traits, but I broke up with him, and when I did, my parents were quite happy.
They were not disappointed.
No, but it's just so funny because they were not let down, and then of course I'm thinking,
Rita, I'm so sorry.
No, they had a nickname for him, and it was a bad word.
Oh.
And so they were saying you finally came to your senses, and then, of course, because I had to rebel, it's like, I don't want you guys to know my business, number one. And I don't want you to congratulate me on breaking up with this guy because I wasn't going to admit to my parents that they were right about it.
Right.
Because you just can't. I mean, I couldn't. But, and that's the whole thing. That's what's really wild. Just that whole dynamic of they are right about some things. And I will say, and I even said to my dad, there were things that you guys did that I will still fight you on to this day. And maybe you didn't know what you were doing. And maybe your parenting skills were terrible. But you chose some, just you needed to handle your stuff better. And by the time I was the fourth kid in line, you should have figured it out by then.
Right.
My dad's like, oh, well, nobody's
Get
ever
your
happy.
life.
But the good thing is, Father's Day, I did get to see my dad. And I also got to have this different perspective where, and it's not like I'm very, it'll be, but it's so funny. You think I'm sitting there going, well, he's 86 and he has been, I just think it's amazing that you're putting in a sprinkler system when you're 86. He's always been super active and busy and always fixing things, always tooling around. And this is not just, he just said, he goes, I don't have that zest. He said, that's what's so weird for me. He said, I just physically can't do it. So whatever happened with his heart just slowed him down and stopped him. And so, but I'm thinking, he goes, the doctor, he said, but he's also realistic going, if this is what I got, and this is the chance I got, I think on a big picture, his heart could have just stopped completely and that would have been it. And so that's what I'm looking at the positive to go. It didn't. And so then I got a chance to spend, time with him and then plan, of course, going back and visiting with him a couple times a month. So happy Father's Day.
It's, my dad is 76. So he's up there, not quite 86. That's a good run.
So my dad he's 86 now. So 76. So my dad was 74 when my mother passed away, and he waited 6 months before he started dating. And
he started. Oh, go for him. Get it.
He loved the ladies. Then he complained about the ladies.
Of course.
Because he'd go right. He did he's like, all these women are calling me now. He goes. I said, well, that nice lady that you took out, he's like, she won't leave me alone. He said, I just think they want to marry me. He said, I don't want to marry anybody. And I go, you're 75.
That's hilarious.
It's so hilarious. So then, because he was living with me at the time, I'm like, Dad, I can tell you a great story. I think this is funny and humiliating at the same time. So I said, I'm going over to CVS because I have to, I don't know, something was on sale. One ridiculous sale. And it's like the cran raz juice, they have ocean spray.
Yeah.
Cranberry raspberry, right? Well, they have the diet and I love that over ice. And it was on buy one, get one free. So I saw it. And so I said, I'm going to go load up on that. So I said, yeah, Dad, I'm going to go to CVS. She goes, I've got a prescription. He said, will you pick it up for me? I said, all right. I go to the pharmacy, pick up a prescription. They said, this is a new prescription. So I said, I'm picking it up for my dad. They said, okay, you need to talk to the pharmacist. They're going to give you your instructions. Dad was 76. Mom gone a couple of years. Here's Viagra. The pharmacist starts saying, this is for erectile dysfunction. I'm like, wait, what? She's like, I said, I do not need to know this. I said, my dad is old.
Boner pills for your dad.
I said, no. She goes, this is a generic version of Viagra. I said, no. So I go home, I look at my dad and I said, unacceptable. This is a journey you need to take. And he said, are there refills? He goes, are there refills? I said, I don't know, Dad. Well, I said, you're going to read these 20 pages they give you. That's my dad. Love the ladies. Love the ladies. But he had it in his head. He had to wait 6 months after mom passed. And then but I think he just wanted to date, but not seriously. Because he's a good looking man. He was good looking in his 70s. But going out with these older ladies, and he's like, all of a sudden, he goes, what? I'm not getting married again. He said, they don't understand me. Those are the moments I cherish. So that's my brother. So he's dating anybody? He goes, no. So women are too much of a hassle. He would be somebody great to interview. He wouldn't do it because he's just sit there and the words of wisdom. It's like, women, they always take things too seriously. I don't want a wife. I was married for 50 years. I just want to date. And I'm thinking women, if they're dating a 75-year-old, they're thinking, come on.
How much longer?
I mean, you don't hear about, right. It's like, I was, you know what I thought of? I'm just thinking of going, I wonder if they do speed dating for seniors.
Oh, yeah. I hear nursing homes are disgusting.
Notorious. Peyton Places. Remember that show?
No. I don't.
It was an old show, and they did a TV. I think it was a book, too. I don't know what year it was from, but the idea was, it was all this pandemonium was happening, sexual stuff. I think that's what my memory is. I think that's what the term is. It was a TV show, maybe from the 70s, that all kinds of, nefarious things happened that you weren't supposed to happen. But anyway, excuse me. But yeah, I don't know nursing homes. But I imagine, the thing is that what cracks me up about the old guy is...
I hear they get it on.
Yeah. Well, and then...
No risk of pregnancy.
No, but the whole thing was like, it's like, right? But my thing is that to say, like, because he would say, it's like, oh, just grow up. He said, this doesn't bother you. He said, it's natural. I said, it's not natural. He's like, I'm a man. I said, I don't need to know that. It's just so funny to me because I think I don't care how old I'm going to get. That's one thing I don't want to think about my parents doing. Ever.
Right. No one does.
So, no one does. So, to be an enabler, which is to be the one, but I mean, because as a matter of fact, I got a prescription going.
Or even your friends and family or like close people. Like, I don't want to think about them doing that. So the big lesson for me is now I'm going to expect the unexpected for my family. Cause I was thinking, all right, it doesn't have to be so maudlin, and I just laugh now. So that's a gift for me to be able to see it from that point of view. So that makes me more zen than I was before. And everybody's going to act the way they act. So instead of it, and then in kind of in a new perspective, which isn't I'm already guessing what's going to happen based on the pattern, because it still could happen, but it didn't, and that was like for so many years kind of have that conditioning. It didn't. It was really nice, and it was, yeah. So anyway, that's my Father's Day talky talk. What do you want to talk about tonight, Ryan? Oh, I didn't have any necessarily any agendas or plans.
It's not like you at all.
No.
You're usually Mr. Jibber Jabber here.
Yeah, I called my dad for a little bit before we before we got on.
That's nice.
And yeah, he's doing all right. 76. He broke his foot not long ago.
Geez. Did he have surgery?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. But he's fine.
Yeah.
Like he's still working. He's gonna, he was talking about going up in the airplane he flies.
Nice.
So
does he have his own plane?
Mm-hmm.
Like a little Cessna, or?
Yeah, a little 4-seater Cessna. I won't get in it. I won't.
Too small?
No. Yeah, fuck that. They're crazy. I don't even like. I've only been up 2 times. Like, I refuse to get in that death trap. No, thank you.
When I went to the smallest plane ever.
He's building like a little 1-seater with his friend. Like, he and his friend bought some like glider style.
Yep, my brother-in-law and his partner did the same thing. They built it. They put it in a
cockpit, and so he's
cool.
like it's basically like a motorcycle version of an airplane.
Well, seriously, they started
just to go drive. You fly within 30 miles, and so it's really just to go like take up short trips, go to a couple towns over. But he was saying he's gonna be going back up to get his health insurance flight review or whatever on Wednesday, because they're pretty strict medically.
Oh, sure.
To keep your pilot's license.
I'm sure.
Like, cause he's diabetic, and so like he has to stay off insulin, because once you go on insulin, you can't fly anymore. Apparently.
Yeah, makes sense.
And so he's always, against his own wishes, tried to stay off of insulin and control his diabetes, through food and stuff like that, so he can still fly. But yeah, I do not like being in the air.
My town was really close to a little small municipal airport. Tons of small planes. You see small planes all over the place. And smallest plane I've ever been in was when it was what we would call a puddle jumper, which would be like LA to San Diego or LA to Oakland.
Okay,
right?
So you've not even been up in like a little Cessna?
Not a like 4-seater, but I was on a 8-seater.
Okay.
That
I've been up in a 2-seater, because the first one that I remember him getting was a 2-seater. I went up in that one once, and then another time after he traded that in for the 4-seater. And that was the last time, and that was in, I think, like 2005. So,
well,
fun with that.
Yeah, my plane experience was because we had scuba gear that they weighed the scuba gear, and then they weighed all of us individually.
Oh,
and then it had to be such a set amount of weight.
Yep, because
then all our gear
have to stay under a certain amount of weight, or else.
But you know something so funny?
Dump the cargo.
So you got people on the plane, the second plane, but they couldn't get all of the gear. So by that afternoon, all of the people were there. Half the gear was there. And this is the very first day arriving. So usually when you arrive, they give you, it's a big dive resort on the water. And they're there with their coconut, tropical drinks, welcoming you, giving you stuff, taking you to your cabins, or they were little huts. They were beautiful. But the type A personalities, because it became like the Hunger Games, because they have a little baby dive shop. The people are like, wait, because the island time of the planes the plane's like, yeah, we're not coming back until tomorrow. We're going to come on our next run. We're not going to make a trip just to get dive gear there.
Right.
And so we'll bring your dive gear in the morning. But there are people who are, okay, I'm going to travel for almost 20 hours, land at their time in Fiji, say it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they will want to do a dive that night. I'm like,
like with because you gotta when you're doing all the weird
over there,
when you're doing all the math for like do with the O2 levels in your blood, like the airplane elevation counts against. Decompress a day so you can scuba dive longer.
Well, plus here's this place. It's so beautiful. All the cottages are out looking to the beach. They have a huge pool, a hot tub, and then they've got these 2 beautiful canopied huts that were for massages. And so you're looking out into paradise, getting a massage. You got all of these options to do, and but it's like I'm going again. We're in a paradise, And the first thing my thought was, I would like something to drink, and I would like to lay down somewhere. And this lawn chair looks really nice right now. This lounge chair, out, watching the sunset.
Yeah, I don't need to put on all of my dive gear right now.
But remember that,
tank.
Right. And then, but it was so funny to see people rushing whose equipment didn't come. They went to try to rent equipment to make sure they had it. And I was going, okay, that's why people usually go on a vacation, just to chill. And it's not as if you didn't get your clothes or anyway, but it's just funny. But that plane ride was, I think I actually have pictures where you couldn't be any closer together, number one. And 8 seats is not a lot of seats. And then, we're stacked on top of each other. And it was a beautiful trip over into where we were going. But I can't imagine a 2-seater, can't imagine a 4-seater. It's just because you feel every bump, every, how the engine goes. So,
yep.
But too small, and then it's amazing being in these places where it's a dirt road that you're flying into, and the airport is a shack. It's like
I flew
everything's outdoors,
in and out of Haiti. I went to Haiti years ago in college, and like even their large airport was, not very like it was very small. Same thing in the Bahamas. Right. We flew from Miami in a or not from going to Haiti. Yeah, flying from Miami to Haiti.
Yeah.
Although I did go to going to the Bahamas, you did have to fly in like a tiny plane and land on like a real small runway. Just
Yeah, too small. Yeah.
And and so that was I actually, speaking of the diving stuff, my mom sent my diving stuff. My wetsuit does not fit anymore. I thought it's too small.
It's too small for you now?
Yep. I'm a little larger. And so
you're pretty thin.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a medium. And so I'm going to have to, it might be in a large.
But you didn't have stretch. The Henderson stretch is the best, neoprene.
I may check that out. And so I got that. And I also she sent a picture of me when I was like 16. I think it's 97. It's the group photo from outside the dive thing. So that's kind of funny. From that trip.
Well, you're not going to ever be as thin as you were when you're 16, though.
Well, yeah, actually, I'm a little bigger now. Like, I mean, because I've recently been a little thinner. Like, it's not like I could go running and do some, a lot of cardio and, probably fit in it within a couple of weeks.
Isn't your body because are your muscles going to be like they were when you were 16? Your leg muscles because of the running?
I thinned out a little, actually. At one point, I was probably a little smaller than I was when I was in high school. Because I usually set around like 180, I don't know, like 180 in high school. And and now, I don't know, I'm like 165, 170.
You look pretty thin.
Now I might be 175 just because of the amount of work I've been doing. Like, so I might be creeping
more
back
muscles.
up. Yeah,
muscles.
More muscles. I am a little bigger, and so my arms are getting big again, and so.
You're practically a model.
No, I don't know. There's some pictures where I've been kind of close. Like I've had, I don't do enough cardio or work on my abs. I mean, it's not like I have a gut or anything, but I have had, like a 6-pack before. That's fun. It's.
And where are these pictures?
On my phone. I'll send them to you if you want.
You know.
Okay, got a couple of them. They're.
I guess I didn't mean to make it sound like I was being
Yeah, no, I took.
What do they call it? What do they call that? Old women and younger men.
Cougar.
What do they call? Cougar, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I just.
Although I'm at the
I'm not that much older, but still.
No, and older. I laugh at that now, where it's like cougars are like kind of my age range now.
Well, see, I thought a cougar was somebody like a woman in her 40s going for a guy in her 20s.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
But I'm 40, so a woman that is appropriately aged for me,
right?
Could possibly be a cougar.
Well, they wouldn't be a cougar if they were your same age.
Yeah,
but they could still be.
You could still classify her as it's just a hot middle-aged woman, basically.
Okay.
Not necessarily going after a younger guy, but like.
Oh, I didn't get the hot part. I thought a cougar was just an older woman. Middle-aged woman.
It's kind of like it's a hot middle-aged woman out. Okay. Out for
Well, I didn't mean to sound
often going for younger men. And so yes, you are correct. That is part of it, but it's just
I didn't make it. I didn't mean to sound print. No. Yes, I didn't mean to make it sound like I personally wanted a picture of you nude, but.
Oh no, they're not new. It's just a shirt. I don't do that. I'm not that brave.
Okay. So all right. So that I wanted to see you. Well, I was trying to convey. Well, maybe I do want to see you without your shirt on, and I just have to explore that. But it could be. I was trying to convey. It's like, where are all these pictures of you? Are they all over the internet? Or are you just carrying pictures of your six-pack in your phone?
Yeah, there was It was kind of a documentation thing because I was getting ready. I had a really long beard at the time, and I was just like, okay, I kind of want proof that I looked like this at one point. And so it was more because I don't take selfies or anything like that normally.
But you did it this time.
But I did it then because it's like, you know what?
Did you post it like on one of your Match.com pages, like ladies?
No.
Come on, Ryan.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, the six-pack and the long beard going.
It's I'll text it to you sometime. You'll be like, what?
Ooh, episode 11 is gonna be good. Maybe we could
do. Maybe it'll be the thumbnail for this one.
Okay, well, I do declare.
It's
Ryan's getting all sexy in the room. He's okay, and you really set the bar.
Well, it is. It's nice knowing that.
Because I think that. See, now why don't you wear a beard now? Because facial hair is really attractive. I mean, you're an attractive man anyway. But why don't you have a beard with your long hair, your Jesus hair?
It is the effort that. Okay. One, I do look good with a beard. Like, I just don't want to with the upkeep. It's easier to just stay clean shaven instead of trying to keep it at an appropriate length.
Because like all the pancake drippings in your beard.
And once your beard gets to a certain length, it starts being a thing. Because I originally just let my beard grow because I got tired of shaving. No one was telling me not to do anything. It didn't matter. I wasn't doing any background acting or extra work, so it didn't matter what I look like. And I just let my beard grow and grow and grow and grow. And
does it grow at different lengths? Does it grow at different lengths? Your beard, did it grow at different lengths? So, does it all grow in one length? So say if it was down to here, would it all be square? Did you keep it up?
Oh, no, it wasn't square, but it was kind of shaped. It was all the same length, but it was well,
there is that thing in the last 2 years of men growing very long beards. Mm-hmm. And my local Starbucks drive-thru, there's two very burly looking young guys who have ginormous beards, and I always think that's interesting because I
named it the Kraken. I named my beard the Kraken.
So you got gotta wait. You got the Kraken beard and the washboard abs and a nude photo in your phone.
Exactly. The
Ryan, what we're learning.
It's it's
are there any wait, are you in any are you in any films that we
No, I'm not.
No films. You're just in the cracking sexy photo phase of your career.
I almost a friend of mine does do some porn stuff, and I almost did background for him. Like,
okay, let's flesh this out.
Just walking
what
by.
like all of a sudden it's like, okay, but what I love the most,
he wanted someone to walk by his window, like, because he does his show like starts it out in his kitchen, and he wanted someone to walk by the window, like, back and forth while he was doing the show, because he thought it would be funny for the live chat. And I was like, I'll help you out. And then the more I thought about it, I was just like, I don't really think I want to be walking around in the background of like a porno.
You know what's so amazing though, speaking of porn, my parents told a story about how there's a very, very famous porn movie that people like in suburbia went to San Francisco to see. And
they all just went to the theater.
Mom said, oh, no. She goes, we like 4 or 5 couples would go out to dinner, go watch this movie. And because we have that, I don't know if it's there anymore.
That's very progressive.
Farrelly brothers owned a big, and the reason it came up, because years later, the woman who starred in the movie wrote a book and then said that, Hollywood was a terrible place. And she was, they made $1 quadrillion. It was one of the most famous porno movies of that time. And then she dropped a lot of names because a lot of Hollywood men came to visit. And,
I'm sure they did.
And then she was invited to go to Hollywood and those parties, but because of her talent. But it just cracked me up to go, like, regular couples, like they're going out to see a regular movie. And she goes, no, everybody went to see it. It's like an adult thing to do. I said, isn't that weird? I said, you guys are, she's like, that was just like a social thing. It was like to be seen. I mean, it was such a big phenomenon. And I remember they did go out, and the 2 neighbors who were good friends of my parents, and years later I said, did you really go see that movie? She goes, yeah, we did it. She goes, it was weird. But I can just see, like, my dad, of course, I could see walking into one of these places, but my mother going like, oh, prim and proper, going, what?
Yeah. But maybe that was super Christian conservative.
Yeah,
so
they weren't going. They weren't going. My mom, was raised, I think I've said, very, very strict Catholic, and my dad was raised pretty strict Pentecostal. So, but it was like a social thing. But the 70s were really a weird time for suburbanites, and I think that was their big counterculture thing, maybe, to go to a porno movie. But it wasn't like you would hear about today. I mean, my dad told me a funny story about my brother and my mother being upset at being a young man and his body's changing. My mother's like, he shouldn't be in his room by himself for so long. And my dad, we were just laughing so hard. My dad's like, I'll talk to him, but it's not going to change anything. And so my dad went, and my brother laughed so hard. He goes, I remember the story. My dad's like, just don't do it when your mother's around. Right? So don't do it during the day. Don't lock yourself in your room all afternoon because your mother thinks you're doing something.
Figure out how to make it less obvious.
Right? And that, it just cracked me up because that, so there's like, that's not normal. That's not normal. My dad's like, yeah, he's 12. He just discovered what that was. And, but so that like, you hear stories like that thinking, I just think about my mother walking into the Tenderloin where the theater was, all dressed up in her going to dinner clothes with other couples. But I can imagine the ladies thinking, well, we are women, here we roar, here we can roar. It's the 70s. We can burn our bras and watch porno.
I imagine it was pretty tame compared to some of the stuff that's out there now, though.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. But the thing, too, is that I think, though, that the greatest thing ever would be to see, remember science, oh my gosh, Mystery Theater?
Okay, yeah. I was like, wait, where is she going with this?
No, but a Mystery Theater.
Yeah, Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yes, Mystery Science Theater, which the best episode ever is with Kathy Ireland, doing the Kathy Ireland movie. I could watch it 24/7. But Mystery Science Theater doing porno.
I think that has.
Do you think? No. Do you think so?
I'm sure that has.
Or something like it.
Like some kind of riff track. Like there's a new thing that's like Mystery Science Theater 3000. Even though that show's still actually on, but a thing called riff tracks where they do that with other things.
The thing is that other movies. Now because I think, and I can't speak for all women, but men like it for the sex part.
Right.
Right.
Men like it for the
sex part.
Right.
Like women aren't watching the movies for the sex part. It might turn some women on. I can't get past the dialogue. I can't. So I start laughing. Like
I don't think any man watched the dialogue part. Like, I don't think any of us actually. We don't. We're like, what? There's dialogue.
Walk by. Yeah.
It has dialogue.
I know. I'm a businessman. I'm here. It cracks me up. It's just so hysterical. And I would be the one just totally killing the mood.
Yeah.
It's like turn a corner and it's like I start laughing, going, "It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life." Because
I didn't know.
I guess dialogue. Because what?
People talk in those things.
There's big, huge movies. I mean,
I know.
Shows.
There's
big long movies
in
it, and then the movies that they try to, they take off of a regular movie.
Yeah, all the spoofs.
Yeah, right. So it's just so funny because, and then they have the narration. They just can't make the Hollywood movie because you got to tie in every 10 minutes of the action. But then the person who does really great action doesn't happen to be the best actress in the world.
Right. And that's okay because
that's not
what they're watching it.
But that's what cracks me up because they're making an hour and a half.
As long as they're acting in the right part, as long as they're convincing in the parts they need to be convincing.
Oh my God. Because and then I remember years ago, like Howard Stern would talk about the big awards show, like the porno award show, and you'd see people. I watched them, not watched the show before, but like with clips and stuff, and it's to me hysterical for what people win for, like nominations, like you just wouldn't think. And what I think of is like they're not being serious about it. It's a multi-billion, trillion-dollar industry, and they're like, yeah, I'm really good at this. And that's a talent.
So weird that such a taboo thing is makes so much money.
I have a friend who does, I won't mention her name. She does balloon fetish videos.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah,
she's there in a very scantily clad, she's not nude or anything, but
my buddy's done some weird fetish type videos too, like one you're smashing cake batter all over yourself and stuff.
But it's really interesting because I don't judge.
Yeah.
But people go, they so she does when she does live performances, they'll say, hey, her subscribers that pay, will you do this? Sometimes it's just rubbing it. Sometimes it's rubbing with cream on it. Sometimes rubbing butter on it. And you think like, oh, okay. I mean, it's like, she was like, I'll just do it. But it's very specific. So to someone who doesn't have a balloon fetish, I can't see the sexual part of it except watching someone, but it's just, but for somebody it is. And so she's like, I'm happy to oblige.
It's so interesting.
Isn't that so interesting? She's like, no shame in my game. But she's like, she goes, but I said, it's like, oh man, I just talked to you about that, talking about doing interviews and stuff. She goes, well, we had the whole conversation. That's all I do. I rub stuff on balloons for people and they pay me. Yeah, period, end.
That seems like that's the life. That is the goal.
Right?
Your friend has the goal.
What's so cool about it is like, that's what I do.
It is, that is what she does. I think that's a good stopping point. Your friend has the life. That's just find your balloon rubbing.
We've just ended on balloon fetish.
Find your balloon fetish audience.
Ryan, that's brilliant.
Well,
we're gonna have to post that beard ab pic of you.
Oh yeah. Combo. Yeah, we'll find that. And it's
so we covered Father's Day, porn, the mouse, balloon fetishes, and Ryan's abs. So that's a good show, Ryan.
Yeah. The that definitely was covered a wide.
And we didn't even talk about current events. We could have, but I think we're done. We'll have to pick it up next week.
Yeah, because we are 116.
Ooh, over it. Well, again, always, Ryan, because I love you so much. Thank you so much for working with me and doing all the work behind the scenes for this show.
I am glad to. And speaking of behind the scenes stuff, merch alert. We have merch. Check the description below. I will link it to our merch page. Also, we have I've set up some other stuff. We are on Anchor now, so the podcast will actually be available on audio shortly. There is one episode up. I will have the link to all of that in the description as well. So check the description for more links. And new YouTube announcement, I guess. Since this is episode 10, we will be going on our own YouTube channel with episode 11. So
we're going national.
Yes. So look in the description for that. We're
gonna have a Twitter account, Instagram account, Facebook account.
We're going big time.
National.
Celebrity guests,
global,
and
porn stars.
And all that. Exactly.
Porn
stars, chefs.
We have combo stars because they may work at the grocery store by day, but rub balloons at night. We want those interesting guests, right, Ryan?
Exactly. I mean, one of my friends out here, he makes a living doing sex stuff, so could get interesting. And
does he have pictures with a shirt on?
Yes.
Does he have a long beard?
No. But sometimes he does have a beard, though.
And he's not you?
No, and he is not me.
There's nothing you want to reveal to us.
No. I am not that brave. I am definitely not that brave. It's
well, I think that's a good place to end.
Yeah.
We got to Ryan will build up his courage over the next few months
and start my adult
career.
Hey, who knows? Maybe there is some weird fetish thing that I can start making that I am comfortable with.
Can I please write the script?
Maybe people will like my feet or something, and I can start a foot channel.
He's thought this through. You've thought this through, Ryan.
It's yeah. I've thought that through a little bit. Thought about it.
You got feet fetish-ish?
I don't,
fetish feet.
But I do know other people do, and all
I'm saying is if you're in a movie, I would like to write the script because I think I could write it better.
Okay, I'm sure.
Anyway, thank you everybody for listening, watching. See us as we go national. Looking forward to seeing you next week.
Yes.
Have a great weekend.
Yes.
Or week. The weekend's almost over.
Exactly.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.